Okay, Emma, thanks again for agreeing to join this quick call. Let me start by asking you then, if you remember, I think you joined the course around about this time last year,
Yeah.
maybe 12 months ago or so. Do you recall at that time what sort of grade you were on at that point
Yeah,
before
I
you joined the
do.
course?
I had just received a D in mechanics. I think it was a C in statistics, and then I think I got either an A or a B in pure.
I see. Okay, those like mock grades from school, were they?
Yeah.
Of sort. Okay, I see, I see. And do you also remember at that sort of time what things you were struggling with in general, whether it be certain topics or was it to do with studying routine or that kind of thing?
I think it was just the fact that I've always been very good at the pure side of maths, but for
Right.
some reason, I could never understand the mechanics or the statistics side of things. Um, and yeah, and I also think that having the study schedule did really help with that. But I was
Hmm.
watching videos on YouTube and I just could not understand it.
Okay, I see, I see. So not too bad with the pure, but when it came to applied sort of
Yeah.
questions with context, yeah, they can be interesting for sure. So then around that time then, what was it that made you think of deciding to get help sort of outside of school, like a program like the one we ran?
Well, it was actually my mum's idea. She found Amrit's course online and she saw all the like amazing reviews and about how awesome like his course for maths was. And so we
Hmm.
thought we'd give it a go. We watched one of those um we watched one of the lessons that you watch before you like sign up to the course.
Like the
And
taster sessions, yeah.
yeah, the taste sessions and the way he explained what was going on was just awesome. And it really actually helped me understand the topic of what he was going over better than I thought I originally understood it. So we then signed up with Amrit and it was great.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. I'm glad to hear it. I suppose sometimes you do have those difficult topics, and it's not always a case of um, trying really hard, trying to understand it, but sometimes it's how it's taught. Sometimes
Yeah.
it just takes that sort of different way of explaining something, and it can all come together. But okay, that's good to hear. Um, Now you touched on this a little bit already, but over that entire sort of year you've had on the course, what were sort of the main components that you felt you benefited from the most during that time?
Well, the handouts were awesome. I've used them when it came to revising for my exams because of the way they broke down and everything. And it almost seemed like Amrit or whoever had created the handouts, probably Amrit, had thought of like every small like type of question that you could possibly be asked. And it got to the point where I was seeing these sorts of questions in my mock papers, and I was like, oh, I can do these. I know how to do these. But also the office hours, those were very helpful because, for example, when I was getting questions back from my mock papers that I hadn't done so well in, other people had got them right, and I tried to look at their answers to see how they had done it, but I wasn't really able to follow through with their methods, so I could just send a picture of it to either you or Alex or Amrit, depending on what sort of topic it was. And the way you guys just explained it was like, oh, well, that's how you do it. And then it's definitely easier to do if the question ever came up again.
That's good. Yeah, I'm glad to hear it. To touch on those points, the handouts did kind of have the idea in mind of creating something where they lead you straight into exam questions. Do you find sometimes that the textbooks sometimes feel like a big step from going from those textbook questions straight to sort of past paper exam questions? It looks like there's a bit of a jump sometimes from them. Um, so that's a big part of the motivation to lead straight into those types of questions. So it's not a shock, I suppose.
Yeah, I
Um,
had been using the textbooks for my revision before and then doing past paper questions from like
mm,
physics and maths tutor. And just, yeah, as you said, the gap was a bit too much for my brain to handle.
that's fair enough. The textbooks certainly have some good information in there. That's just one of those. one of those cons of them, I suppose.
Yeah.
Um, and your other point about general help, that's good to hear, obviously, as well. I don't think it's always easy when you are struggling with questions at home to have somewhere where you can sort of um, get that clarity on it, which was another big sort of supporting point we thought would be a good idea. Some schools might have it, but I can't think of a case where you're sort of allowed to send over questions like that to teachers. Be good if they did, maybe, but yeah. So it's good to hear that that has worked well. Um, to follow on then from that, thinking of about sort of back again to where you were 12 months ago, just sort of just joining the program and thinking about the motivations of that. If someone was perhaps in a similar position to yourself, had those sort of similar grades at the time and was in a similar position, looking to obviously improve, um, but they were on the fence about whether to join the course or not, how would you perhaps, or what advice would you give to them?
Well, I definitely would recommend that they join the course. I mean, the evidence of the fact of how good it is right there. I mean, I experienced it. As you said, I joined the course just over 12 months ago now, and I retook those exams that I sat in the summer, back in the autumn of year 13,
Hmm.
and I ended up jumping 2 grades in both of the applied subjects. So I went to one a B, but I got 1 mark off an A in mechanics and an A in statistics, and
Excellent.
yeah, it was awesome. Um, so yeah, I would definitely, absolutely, 100% recommend it to them. Like it's worth the money, and actually, if you think about it in terms of how many hours and all the other added benefits that you get from doing the course, it's definitely worth it. So yeah, I would say definitely give it a go.
Thank you. Yeah, I appreciate that. So those, um, your point there with retaking those, it was a year 12 mocks. That's what you
Yeah.
sort of retook. That would have been said in autumn. So was that about 4 or 5 months afterwards, something like that?
I
Sort of
took
timeline.
those summer mocks shortly before we broke up in
Hmm.
about, I think it was, I want to say July somewhere, and then I
Right.
sat them in the couple of the first weeks back to school, so that was in September. So it was just
See,
basically the entirety of the summer holidays of Amrit's summer booster lessons, and I managed to jump 2 grades in that time. So I was like, yay.
that's excellent. Excellent. A really good jump in that time period for sure. That's really good to see. Um, okay, Emma. Finally, then I might finish on. Would you like to share um what grade you achieved in your year 13, and also from there what you're now going on to do?
I got an A in my year 13, and I'm going on to do medicine at Plymouth.
Excellent. Really, really big achievement, Emma. Really, really well done. Okay, Emma. Thanks again for agreeing to discuss and answer those questions.
No
But we'll
worries.
leave it there.